Manchester United have just lost to Real Sociedad. Oh my days, it was back to that terrible football that we saw all of last season. What went wrong? Oh my gosh, where to even start with that nightmarish performance? The back two that I predicted with Lindelof and Maguire, I mean, both of them didn't do much. Lindelof was so bad tonight. That was the worst performance I've seen from Lindelof. I know he was playing out of position, but he was getting bodied by players. He should be stronger in those positions. He was being chucked on the floor. He was out of position. He wasn't blocking. He did nothing. He was poor. Harry Maguire, no leadership again. No fight. No grabbing players. No shouting. No leadership. Martinez came on at half-time and even he showed more leadership in the 45 minutes he was on. Do United have a case to feel robbed by that game? Absolutely they do. The ref had a nightmare. Absolutely shocking decision. VAR didn't do its job. It's a difficult one at the moment with referees because we're in a medium space where on one hand we're saying we want VAR to not be involved as much in the game. And then when things like this happen, we're saying we want VAR to be part of the game. So it's a difficult one, but VAR for me was meant for these kind of decisions where the referee has made a clear and obvious error. The referee thinks that ball has gone straight into Martinez's hand, when in fact it took a deflection off another body part and then hit into his hands. That is not a handball. That is certainly not a penalty, which has decided the game ultimately. But take away from that, this is a game we should be winning by 2, maybe 3 goals. And the fact that we couldn't break down this Real Sociedad team, who did play in a defensive way, they were compact, it's very, very worrying. Now let's go through the player ratings and we'll get into this in a bit more detail. So to start the ball rolling, I'm going to go with a 6 for David De Gea. Didn't think he did anything wrong. The thing that annoyed me with David De Gea, and it's always a thing that he has with penalties, he went the right way, but he never fully commits to it. It's almost like he just sort of flops in that direction. That really irritates me. But again, it wasn't really his fault. It's a penalty, one of them. He didn't do much wrong here, and he had really one other shot to face, which was from Kubo on the left. Sort of drilled it straight at him. And also I liked how he came off his line. It's the first time I think I've ever seen David De Gea do that. Came off his line to stop Cho from having a one-on-one. I like that. So De Gea gets a 6. Didn't put really a foot wrong. Dalot, 6 again. An average, but just above average display from Dalot. Didn't really have much to do. Did what he had to do well. Yeah, I thought he played well. I also got what would have been an assist for Ronaldo. We'll get on to him in a minute. I've got a lot to say about him. But yeah, Dalot did a good job. I didn't think he did much wrong. Harry Maguire, 5. Lack of leadership. Lack of intent. No G'ing up the players. We've gone back to that sloppy, slow, boring brand of football. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it's since Harry Maguire's come back into that starting 11. I don't think he's the main culprit, but the way he dawdles on the ball, the way he sort of makes these slow little runs with the ball, doesn't release it early, doesn't fire up that attack in the similar way that Martinez and Varane do. They sort of, as soon as they get the ball, it's straight away forward. Maguire likes to sort of run it out, and he's like, oh, where do I pass to? Oh, I'll go sideways. We need that intensity to start from the back. We have to start playing out from the back more often. That's what Erik ten Hag wants to do. And yeah, Maguire's just poor. He's a really poor player, certainly in our system. I think he would do well at a different kind of club, but not here. He really needs to go now. No disrespect to him. He wasn't bad tonight. It's just, as a Manchester United captain, I think I'll have to cover this on another podcast, because after that performance I don't feel like what I'm saying is justified in some ways. But as an overall, he's just average. Lindelof, I'm going to give a 4. really bad performance from Lindelof, much worse than Maguire. Maybe even go, you know what, I'm going to drop Lindelof down to a 3. I thought he was shocking. I felt bad for him, and the reason I gave him a 4 originally was because in the second half he was playing out of position at right back. Erik Ten Hag got that massively wrong. We've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the bench. I know he's not your first choice, but he's got to be above Lindelof. Come on. You've got a really fast attacking player. The only attacking player that they had in that first half came down that flank. And then all of a sudden you're putting Lindelof against him. That's not fair on Lindelof, and that is not right. Erik Ten Hag dropped a clanger on that one. I don't know what his thinking was there. Unless it was a signal that he really doesn't want Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the squad. And if that's the case, then that's just crazy. I'd have Aaron Wan-Bissaka in over Lindelof in that position. Come on. Tyrone Malacia, again, I'm going to give him a 6. Didn't do much wrong. Thought he had a pretty solid game. Had one sloppy moment where the ball bounced up and he sort of hit it out for a corner, but yeah, he had no troubles tonight. Moving up, Casemiro. Wow. Really excited to see him start for United tonight. Was not happy with what I saw. Casemiro's getting a rating for me of 3. Very, very poor. Thought he was sloppy in possession. The thing is, you can't even blame the pace of the league. It's a European game. It's not the Prem. If that was in the Prem, I would be more forgiving. But in a European game, you know the team that you're playing against is a Spanish team. Is what you've known for the past 10 years. You know that intensity. And he was sloppy, and for a player of his stature and his footballing knowledge, he was very, very poor, very sloppy. Had a really nice shot towards the end that could have gone in. The header that he missed, it was bad. Yeah, very, very poor first start for Casemiro. Don't think it can get much worse than that, really. Moving up now with Eriksen, my man of the match for Man United. Not the man of the match overall, but for United, he was our most influential player. I'm going to give him a 7. He did everything again tonight. We are so reliant on Eriksen. I didn't realise how reliant we are on him until I saw that performance tonight. Yeah, it's just, I'm so cross with this performance tonight. Fred is going to get a 2 from me. Absolutely shambolic performance. It's interesting, we said this in yesterday's podcast about how Fred looks so much better without McTominay, and McTominay looks so much better without Fred. Tonight, that was just completely proven wrong. Fred looked a shambles. Maybe the McFred issue, maybe Fred was that issue. You know, if you base it on recent form, that looks like it's true. Fred was sloppy. He was just trying a bit of everything, and it turned out to be a bit of nothing. It was pathetic from him, and not really a good excuse or a good argument to have him starting in our team. Pre-season, with Erik Ten Hag's system, I was really excited for Fred. I remember even messaging a few people about Fred and said Fred is the one to watch this season. But after that display, I don't want to watch much more of it. So yeah, he's getting a 2. Elanga, 2. This kid, he needs to go out on loan. I feel for Elanga, and I say this all the time. I say this in probably every podcast that Elanga gets brought up in on. He is a player now that needs to go out on loan. He is not ready for Manchester United. He's not. I think in the future he could be. I think he's got potential. But when he came off at half time, or just after half time, he looked relieved to be coming off. He just isn't quite there. A lot of people I'm in group chats with call him the Chong 2.0. I don't think he's quite that bad. I do think he's got a bit more technique than Chong, but nah. He tried tonight. It was in some ways probably our most attacking player other than Eriksen, but it was his final ball. It was it's just that killer instinct that he lacks, and I think a loan move or 2 could get that out of him. But tonight, poor, giving him a 2. Now, Anthony on the other flank, I'm going to give a 4. Thought he was below average today. Didn't really see much from him. Saw a bit of a flare or 2, but nothing mega. I thought, but the guy that he was up against, I can't remember the guy's name, but he had him on toast. Anthony really didn't look like he was capable. I think that match sharpness still looks like he's lacking that, which again is understandable. We were shocked at how, or certainly during the podcast, we were saying we were shocked at how much of an impact he had in that Arsenal game. By scoring that goal, I think that gave him the push or the adrenaline to continue that game in an attacking sense. But this game today, he looked tired. Sort of by the 20th or 30th minute, he looked out of it. So Anthony's getting a 4. Now, wow, this one is going to probably annoy some people, but this is my opinion and I'm going to go with it. I'm going to stick with this. Ronaldo's getting a 3. Absolutely shambolic from him. He looked like he wanted to be anywhere else other than that pitch. Now, it goes against the grain. It goes against everything that we've seen from him so far this season, certainly as a substitute. But he came on against Arsenal. He ran his socks off. He looked so excited to be playing in that game. And I was so excited to see him play today because I thought, we can see that Ronaldo can play in Erik ten Hag's system. But he slowed everything down. He was always offside. He was walking. He didn't look like he was bothered. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that Ronaldo at all. If that's the way he's going to play, keep him on the bench and let him come on and be an impact player. But to start that, and again, this is what I was saying about Maguire. It seems like when we have Maguire and Lindelof, players like that on one end and Ronaldo at the other end, it seems to slow the progression. And maybe this game is the turning point in this season where we realise Maguire, Ronaldo, Lindelof shouldn't be starting. They should be players that we're bringing on from the bench. I think that is what this performance is telling of, and it impacts everything around them. It impacts the way the midfield play, it impacts the way the wingers play, the fullbacks. It impacts and almost infects into the team, this slow, methodic way of playing. It's a similar system, a similar way to we were playing under Ralf Rangnick last season. We have glimpses of brilliance, but if we don't score from it, the game's going to get away from you. But Ronaldo was so poor. Shocking display. And the worst bit was he didn't look like he cared. He looked like he wanted to be anywhere else other than the Europa League. Not a good night for the GOAT. Moving on to the substitutes. To be honest, none of them really did much. Bruno, 5. Thought he was average. He didn't really do anything. One great ball into Casemiro, who was at the back post we spoke about before. Casemiro wasting that opportunity, but thought Bruno did okay. Martinez was so unlucky with that handball decision. I thought he played really well. He mistimed the header. I think it was Sarloth, the striker from Sociedad, he should have scored it really. I bet people like Real Sociedad, you just know are going to be watching this game and they're going to be on TalkSport tomorrow salivating at that Martinez, that he was out-muscled and out-jumped by a 6'4" striker. His height's going to be brought up again, his strength's going to be brought up again. Yeah, people like, Graham Souness, the dinosaurs of football, are going to have a feast on the corpse of Martinez's performance, that in fairness wasn't that bad. He did a lot of clearances, he was sort of involved, he was tenacious, he looked great, and very unlucky with that handball decision. But I'm going to give him a 5. Didn't think he did much wrong. Don't think the handball decision was fair, and I can't blame him for that. Down to poor refereeing and poor VAR. Sancho, I'm going to give a 4. Didn't really do much, but when he came on, there was a few chances and a few things he tried. Didn't work. He looked tired. He didn't look enthused. I don't know what it is. When we play in a certain way, the whole team looks negative. For me, when I see Maguire and I see Ronaldo in that particular way of playing, and I see the sort of slow way of playing, it impacts everybody. And Jadon Sancho is one of them. He has been flying when we've had Rashford up with him. And even Elanga, just speed. When we're playing with speed and flair and intent, players like Jadon Sancho thrive. It's exactly what he was used to at Borussia Dortmund. Now he's come to this United team who are playing this slow, methodical football. It doesn't suit him. So I do have some sympathy for him. Garnacho should have come on at half-time for Elanga. Didn't do much, didn't get anything really. I'm going to give him a 5. Just average, didn't get any opportunity. And Charlie McNeil was on, all of 10, 12 minutes. A player that I really thought should have come on a lot sooner than that, maybe around the 70th minute mark, just to give us a bit more. Because Ronaldo was not doing it tonight, and I think it was evident for every fan that was watching that game. Ronaldo did not cut the grade tonight. So Manchester United, defeated by Real Sociedad. First game we've lost in 4, but it was the manner in the defeat. It was a poor performance. We were robbed, but I'm not using that as an excuse. I can't use that as an excuse. We should be winning that game comfortably. And the most important thing that I take from this game, Ronaldo should not start a game. Maguire, Lindelof should not start a game for Manchester United. Just as a sign-off tonight, we wanted to pay our respects here at the Shoestring Budget podcast to Queen Elizabeth II, our reigning monarch who died sadly today, aged 96. God save the King. Rest in peace.